Hi everyone, I'm Anna Taylor. I'm a research fellow at the University of Cape Town, and I'm joined by colleagues also from UCT as well as from Kunki Design Initiative in Nairobi.
Hi everyone, my name is Anya Su, and I am a postdoctoral researcher at the African Center for Cities at the University of Cape Town.
Thank you. I'm Alan O'Cock in KDI as a research associate.
My name is Bosibori Barake, and I work at Concrete Design Initiative as a planning associate. I have a background in urban and regional planning.
Hi everyone, my name is Sabrina Oler. I work as well with the Concrete Design Initiative here in Kenya, Nairobi.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining today. So in previous segments, we have introduced the theme of this module, which is on the climate emergency and what that means for African cities, with a particular focus on flooding. And we've also presented the two cases that we're talking about today on transformative river management in Durban in South Africa and nature-based water management solutions that have been co-designed in Nairobi's informal neighborhoods in Kenya. So in this segment, we are discussing what lessons or insights we can draw from thinking across the two cases. Specifically, you can tell us what are some of the technical innovations and what are some of the social innovations that really sit at the heart of this work.
At KDI, we have started to work on public space development in Nairobi, specifically in Kibera, since 2006. Kibera is one of the biggest informal settlements in Nairobi and in Kenya at large. It houses around 350,000 residents, and it's located quite close to the CBD. The settlement is characterized by overcrowded conditions, lack of waste management, poor sanitation, high unemployment, and relatively high crime rates. It also experiences flooding and regular fire outbreaks. However, apart from these economic, social, and environmental challenges, Kibera has also many assets like entrepreneurship, innovativeness, a strong social fabric, and extensive community activism. In Kenya and in Nairobi, we have experienced over the last decade mostly top-down approaches to these challenges. And historically, many of these interventions, largely by the government, have been unsuccessful or have had limited impact. And when we started in 2006, we wanted to come in with an alternative approach to these kind of government interventions. And we started with what we call the Kibera Public Space Project, which is an innovative bottom-up approach leading to resident-managed programs, whereas we have projects which are led by women, youths, and they generate income to maintain the public spaces, which we co-design with these residents of the informal settlement. Some of our public spaces include green infrastructure and other measures to prevent flooding within the areas where they are located. One of them is the Community Responsive Adaptation to Flooding project, where we studied how communities respond to the risk of flooding. And then we also started a project called Realizing Urban Nature-Based Solutions, which addresses water management issues in different informal settlements. As a technical innovation in this project is that we actually pair our design skills. We are architects, engineers, urban planners with the knowledge and ideas of residents. And we try to share the decision power over the designs which are implemented, as well as the budgets which go into these projects.
So I'm just going to focus a bit on the Sihla Nzimvelo program. They work with community-based cooperatives, and they are tasked with cleaning and maintaining a 5-kilometer stretch of stream and 3 meters either side of the stream. And so these cooperatives are based in low-income communities with highly populated streams and also with high unemployment rates. The program creates jobs, but also local jobs. So people don't have to travel long distances to work. And this helps mitigate like high transport costs. One of the key things about the process is that the cooperative members are trained in business skills, marketing, bookkeeping, amongst other skills. And they're also trained to identify alien invasive species. And so if other processes or job opportunities arise, they're actually able to bid for those opportunities. And the issue of alien invasive species is important because modeling and monitoring was done, and it showed that 70% of the blockages of the waterways were caused by alien vegetation and 30% by waste. Each week, the community members are going and removing these blockages. So whether it's waste, whether it's uprooting these alien invasive plants, right? So it's actually preventative.
Now let's hear a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper into how this innovation and innovative work is really made possible, including touching on some of the challenges that I'm sure have been faced.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to speak about why the support of these different actors is important, and also speak about enablers, then mostly speak about who's missing in action. So first, the support of these different actors is important for four main reasons. One, recognition, awareness, acceptance, and also sustainability of the projects that we implement in the different areas that we work in. So how do we achieve this support? We achieve this through inclusion right from the project planning and inception. And to get the community involved in this, we do what we call request for proposal within the settlements that we target to work in. This ensures that projects that we're implementing are demand-driven. So then through the course of the project, we do co-design workshop series with the communities, but also part of what we do involves submission of our project at different phases for approvals. We also sign MOUs with the community, but also bring on board local administration or local authorities. Some of the drivers of the change that we seek to see in the communities include community champions, community-based organizations whom we partner with to implement projects, civil society organizations whom we partner with to create the change that we desire to see, academia, including local universities here, but also foreign universities that we work with from time to time. Others include think tanks and professional networks. We've worked with the Architectural Association of Kenya, but also Kenya Institute of Planners.
Thank you very much, Alan. For us, what we have taken note of is that the government has been definitely missing in action. And I mean, this is from cases such as change of administrations or change of office bearers. It tends to happen a lot in Kenya that you have an election and there's new office bearers and the whole system kind of completely changes, and before things settle down, it definitely affects the flow of projects. Sometimes you find that the successors do not necessarily prioritize projects that were initiated by the predecessors. Then at certain times as well, the administration can be very overbearing, and subsequently this becomes a barrier to some of the entries for these projects. An issue of corruption also comes up a bit, which hinders efforts when dealing with situations that can be lengthy and bureaucratic, and then especially in cases where there is no direct benefit to local administration. Apart from that, there's also power dynamics that are at play at the places where we work with, and there's influential local private property and structure owners, as well as unregulated private sector interest groups who sometimes can bring a bit of a handbrake into this. Other than that, I think there's also a bit of not a handbrake, maybe perhaps a challenge in sometimes coming to an agreement or a common understanding on some of the terminologies that are used, such as nature-based solutions, adaptations. What does it mean to different groups? What does it mean to different people? And how exactly do they interpret it or sort of implement it into the work that they're doing? However, there's major new schemes that are coming up. For instance, as KDI, we're leading on a project that is labeled the Urban Fabric Initiative, where we work with a couple of other civil society organizations here in Nairobi. And the idea is really to integrate public spaces into the national informal settlement upgrading programs. with the national government over the next 2 years. So we see this as an avenue that provides hope for the future in terms of how we are able to relate and work with the government. Thank you.
It's a wide variety of actors and how important that role of facilitation and kind of mediating and intermediating between the different stakeholders, which sounds like the role that KDI plays, is so critical. Anesu, maybe you can tell us about how it looks in the Durban case.
Local political leadership is also involved because the program works at ward level. Therefore, the involvement of local councillors. Internationally too, the C40 finance facility, for example, partnered with the Sihlanzimvelo program to undertake a cost-benefit analysis and investigate a business case to upscale it across all the land, basically, in KwaZulu-Natal, and provided different scenarios.
So the next question is really this one around, how do we know that it's working?
We undertake monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning on all the projects. This project not only happened in Nairobi, but also happened in Dar es Salaam. So we had also the aspect being able to compare between Nairobi and Dar es Salaam and what exactly the performance of the projects have been and what the interventions across the area, across the region have been. So some of the methods we use when we are undertaking this kind of evaluation is we employ the use of focus group discussions, household surveys, interviews, tests, direct observations, site visits, and then we have the assessments ready. And more recently, and this is mostly pointing to how we are making this information available, we began to put together a community of practice, a regional community of practice, just to be able to share lessons on NBS across the different players in the region.
Thank you. Anesu.
One of the benefits was working with the C40 finance facility, and they did their research on a cost-benefit analysis, and basically this helped to really track some of the progress to show that it was actually, it's actually better to implement the transformative riverine management program across, because in the long term, it'll actually save the government money, and then as well as looking at the number of cooperatives that would be required, and and putting the numbers there.
So thanks again for your time, colleagues. It's really much appreciated.